For decades, the world held its breath. Armies trained, weapons were built, maps were drawn again and again. Generals were certain of one thing: this war was inevitable. Every soldier knew where he would fight. Every city knew where the bombs would fall. And yet, the war never came. This is the story of the most prepared war in human history, a war that shaped armies, economies, and borders without a single shot being fired. After the end of the Second World War, the world didn't relax. It became more afraid than ever. Two superpowers emerged, each convinced the other would attack first. Every military exercise, every new weapon, every political speech was interpreted as the beginning of war. Entire generations grew up believing they would fight this one final war. Nations didn't just prepare soldiers, they prepared civilians. Cities built underground shelters. Children practiced evacuation drills. Maps showing blast zones were hidden in government offices. This wasn't preparation for a war. This was preparation for the war. Military planners didn't guess. They calculated everything. Exact invasion routes, exact days of mobilization, exact numbers of casualties, down to the millions. Some war plans predicted that major cities would survive less than 48 hours. Pilots trained for missions they believed were one-way flights. Submarines stayed hidden, waiting for an order that never came. Entire weapon systems were built for this conflict alone, not to win quickly, but to survive long enough. The world lived on a countdown, without knowing when zero would arrive. More than once, the war nearly began by mistake, a radar glitch, a misunderstood signal, a message that arrived minutes too late. On several nights, commanders believed the attack had already started. Retaliation orders were prepared, keys were turned, launch systems were armed, and then someone hesitated. Not because they were brave, but because something didn't feel right. History remembers the war that never happened, but almost never remembers how close it came. While the big war never arrived, a quieter war was always underway. Espionage replaced open battle. Sabotage replaced invasions. Propaganda replaced artillery. Both sides fought everywhere, except the battlefield. Scientists raced to build better weapons, hoping never to use them. Economies bent around military needs. Entire industries existed for a war that didn't exist. Peace in this era wasn't calm, it was armed tension. The reason isn't peace, it's fear. Both sides understood something terrifying. There would be no winner. Victory meant destruction. Survival meant collapse. The more prepared the world became for war, the more dangerous it became to start one. Paradoxically, the weapons designed to end everything kept everything frozen. The war was canceled not by treaties, but by the realization that pressing the first button meant losing everything. Millions of soldiers trained their entire lives and never fought the war they were promised. Careers were built around an enemy never faced. Medals were prepared for battles never fought. Some veterans say the waiting was worse than fighting, because every morning they believed today could be the day, and every night they went to sleep unsure if the world would still exist by morning. Even without battle, this war changed everything. Borders hardened, alliances formed, distrust became permanent. Modern warfare, technology, and global politics were shaped by a conflict that never happened. The silence of that war still echoes today because the systems built for it were never dismantled. The most dangerous war in history wasn't fought, not because humanity chose peace, but because it feared destruction more. And the real question isn't why that war never came. It's this: what happens if the next one does? If you're interested in the war stories history books don't talk about, subscribe to the channel because the next story might be even more dangerous.